Welcome to the Wired to Hunt podcast. This week on the show, I'm joined by my longtime prior co-host, Dan Johnson, to discuss our goals, hopes, and hit lists for the 2025 season. All right, welcome back to the Wired to Hunt podcast, brought to you by First Light and their Camo for Conservation initiative. And today is a fun one. We're kicking off the 2025 hunting season as we do every year, which is with a review of the upcoming hunting season. And I'm joined by my buddy, Dan Johnson. He was my co-host on this show for many years early on. Now he's off doing his own wonderful work over with the Nine Finger Chronicles and Sportsman's Nation. But today, Dan and I are going to talk through our hunting plans for this year. We're going to talk through our goals, dreams, and hopes for the hunting season. We're going to talk through any specific bucks we're after, any specific storylines that we're particularly interested in, any changes in our hunting plans or perspectives coming into the year, all that kind of stuff. So if you've historically followed along with our stories, this is definitely one you want to tune into to prepare for what's to come. But even if you haven't, I would encourage you to listen to this episode, not just thinking about what me and Dan are going to do, but really thinking about our discussion as a template for some thinking that you can do about your very own hunting season. You know, without getting too nerdy here, I do think that leading into this new phase of the year, it's worth having a little bit of reflection, a little bit of thought put behind what you're about to do. We spend so much time working, preparing, buying our gear, spending our time and energy and our dollars on this pursuit of ours. We owe it to ourselves to really think about why we're doing what we're doing, how we're doing what we're doing, and what exactly it is we're trying to get out of this next few weeks and months. Are our goals simply about acquiring food? Is it about the experience? Is it about the people we're spending time with? Is it about our impact on the landscape and managing the deer herd? Is it about a specific buck we're hunting or just trying to get better as a deer hunter? Whatever it is, your experience of the season will greatly depend on the expectations you bring into it, the plans and goals you bring into it. That can wildly change your experience. So think about that a little bit. Listen to Dan and I. Listen, especially for those of you who have listened to us over the years. I'd encourage you to think about and maybe compare and contrast the discussion that Dan and I have today compared to what we talked about 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I think you'll notice some changes for us with our values and our goals and the way we approach hunting season. Not that that's something that you have to follow along with, not that you have to care about the same things or that you need to have the same goals, but I do think you'll see that our thinking has evolved, as I think all of us evolve in our own way as we get deeper and deeper into this, as our lives change, as our goals and values change, all that kind of stuff. So that's a long-winded roundabout way of saying, I hope you enjoy this one. Dan, as you know, is a good friend. He's a wild character. We have some laughs. We discuss some bizarre things, but we also get into some important conversations that hopefully you can find relevant to yourself as you kind of put yourself into our shoes and consider your own hunts and your own plans. So without further ado, let's get the 2025 edition of our goals, hopes, and hit lists. All right, here with me now on the line for year, I don't know,
Infinity.
12, maybe,
Yeah.
year infinity, Mr. Daniel Johnson. We're back for another one of our goals, hopes, and hit lists check-ins, and I appreciate you being here, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm excited to be here. Every once in a while, I'll have to do in life or in a conversation or in a friendship or in anything in life, I'll do something called a hard pivot, where you just have to go a different direction. And so like, I was coach, dad, family, coach, dad, family, hard pivot, deer hunting. And so finally, I got a whole bunch of stuff done deer wise in the last 2 weeks. And that has made me a happy man. I feel more comfortable going into a season, and I'm sure we'll get into that today.
That's good. That's good news.
Yep.
I'm glad that you were able to. I feel the same way. It's like all these other life things sometimes put deer on hold
Yep.
or different things on hold, right? And then you have like seasons of life or seasons of the year where you get these moments where you step away, and then moments where you go really, really hard. And I feel like I'm in the same one as you.
Yep.
So we have a lot to talk about.
Right.
I want to cover what our hunting plans are for this year. I want to cover what our hopes and our goals and how we're thinking about this coming season, how all that stuff is shaping up for 2025. But you teased me with like some interesting news before we started recording that I have zero idea what this is about.
Right.
But coming from you, I'm intrigued, to say the least. So
I don't know why I'm laughing.
What is it you want to talk about? Dude, that's off topic, but of interest.
Okay, so this is something that everybody goes to the bathroom. Every human being goes to the bathroom. Okay,
I can't wait to see where this goes.
Buckle your seatbelt, Mark. Okay, everybody goes to the bathroom. So one thing that I have been trying to do is time my pee and flush times to where I'm not ending my pee too soon or flushing too early, and then I'm still peeing, so I have to eventually flush twice. Okay?
That's a thing that happens to you?
Well, see, I'm trying to time it, right? So it's like a game I play with myself. And so as I'm peeing, I am trying to have my thumb on the hand toilet flusher, and as I know I'm draining and I'm getting ready to be done peeing, I hit that button so that as the last bit of toilet water goes down, my pee stream is done, and it's like a swish into there, and it's gone, and the new water comes in without any additional pee. That's kind of been what's on my mind lately.
So I just gotta wonder, like, what is?
You've never done that?
No, I've never done that. Well, what's missing in your life right now that you are so desperate for entertainment that you have had to develop a game around perfectly timing your pee and your toilet flush? That's maybe the larger question here, Dan.
I have, dude, my gut feeling tells me that you're the weird one here. I don't know why. Okay.
Maybe. Okay.
My gut
maybe
feeling,
you're right.
Yeah. My gut feeling tells me that there's thousands of people who listen to this podcast every single week.
Yeah.
And please, just please, I want everybody that does the same thing that I do to flood Mark Kenyon's Instagram messages or Facebook comments or comments whenever he posts this reel or something like that, to flood the comments and say that he's the weird one and that everybody does what I am doing. The pee flush timing.
Has this been like an evolution? Have you seen progress in your skill at being able to time it properly?
Well, I'll be honest, Mark. I struggled with it early on in my life. I tried to do it and I gave up on it. And recently I said to myself, you're not getting any younger and it's time to make a comeback. Because I felt like there was a time where I had it mastered, and now the older I get, the more uncertainty my urinary and bowel movements are, that it's been challenging, and I'm trying to get back on my horse and I'm trying to nail it again.
Man, I'm proud of you for always trying to grow
appreciate that.
and improve things in your life. This maybe isn't the first place I thought you'd apply that kind of growth mindset, but I'm glad to see that it's happening one way or another. Oh my God. I was in Iowa this weekend with my buddies Pete and Ross, as you know.
Yep.
And I realized that we're getting really old. And I realized that we're getting really old because one of them is getting particularly old, so much so that he was calling you Dennis Johnson.
Oh, Dennis.
over the course of an evening. He's like, I was listening to Dennis. And I'm like, who the heck's Dennis?
Dude,
and then
Dennis?
later we realized he was talking about Dan Johnson.
Well, I guess the last time it's Pete, right? He's the older guy. He's the older one. Yeah. By the way, I got to send a shout out to him. One of the best in the woods. Like that time we were all shed hunting together, he gave me that spinal alignment in the on the tailgate, dude. I don't know if I've had a better spinal alignment since then.
That's his specialty is tailgate adjustments when folks are getting together to hunt or shed hunt or do that kind of thing. So he'll be very excited to hear that.
Yeah.
Peter Lynch, great chiropractor.
Shout out Pete.
Yeah. And I'm just kidding, giving you a hard time about Dennis Johnson. He listens to all these episodes. He's a faithful, great listener to all of our stuff, Dan. So
Perfect.
Shout out to Pete. So other than timing your peas and finally getting into some serious whitetail stuff, anything major new in the world of Dan, or should we hop right into our plans?
Oh, I mean, there's always stuff new from like what I'm doing in the business world, but now school's back in session, right?
Yeah.
And so that means school's back. I'm coaching Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then when games start, Sundays. So I'll have 5 days a week. I'll be doing something related to football. And then that's going to wind up. That's going to be done like the third week of October. And then I just go hard pivot deer hunting. And I leave my family and disappear for a couple weeks.
So I'm like the opposite of you in that you're entering this period of time where you're going to have like no time to focus. And I'm entering a new phase of renewed focus because my youngest is starting kindergarten this year. He just started last week.
Yeah.
So for the first time in 7 years, I'm going to get a full work day.
That's awesome.
Because every single day for 7 years now, I've had a kid at home with me for at least a part of the day. And last year, he was going to preschool, but we had to take him. All the kids go like outside of district, so I have to drive them to school. So like I have to drive one of them to school for their full day, and then middle of the day, someone has to drive the other one to their different school somewhere else. And so there's all this back and forth, or there's someone home with you, and you're constantly trying to keep them busy. So finally, I'm going to get 7 hours of quiet time a day. That's
amazing. That's amazing. So I can remember when that happened is when my business when my youngest started going to kindergarten is when I was able to put more time into my business and I could see it go up. The other thing is Monday was our first day of school and I was working this summer till like 10, 11 o'clock at night some nights just to get everything done for the next day. Now that the kids are out of school, dude, I got done Monday with all of my work at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, now what?
Yeah.
Now what? But then you got an hour little lull period and then it's boom.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Dude, it felt great.
So my youngest, I got to tell a quick story. He'd been in preschool previously. Now he's starting kindergarten. And he's just like he's like a goofy, fun, wild soul. He's, typical second born, has no fear, just kind of like sends it, right?
Yep.
Just goes for it. He'll just leap off into the deep end. So he gets home from school and my wife picked him up from school that day and she asked, Colt, how was your first full day of school? And he says, oh, I ate so much food. What? Like that's the thing he led with. I ate so much food. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, yeah, I ate 2 dinners. And she's like, you ate 2 dinners? So first off, he sometimes does this thing where he'll call the wrong meal by the wrong name. So like he'll just, I don't know, because he's silly. So like he was talking about breakfast. But she's like, well, tell what in the world happened? What do you mean you ate so much food? You ate 2 dinners. Like, well, I walked into my class and my teacher asked me, who needs to go to breakfast?
Right.
And at our school, I don't know if this is every school, but I think most schools probably have they have a breakfast program for people who are in need to have like provided breakfast, right?
Yep.
Our son is not in need of that, but he hears like, hey, who needs to go to breakfast? And he's like, I love breakfast. So he raises his hand. And so he goes to this breakfast. He's never been to the cafeteria before. He's never gone through a lunch line before, right? He just had been in preschool. But he somehow goes down to the lunchroom. He somehow figures out the lunch line, goes to the cafeteria, loads up on cereal and chocolate milk and all this other junk, sits down by himself, little 5-year-old dude by himself there, eats his food. He gets done. Someone asks him, hey, do you need help to get to your classroom? Do you know where you're going? He's like, oh, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then he walks out and Kylie, she's like, well, how did you find your way back to class? Because again, he's never been there before. He's like, well, I stood in the hallway for a really long time. And he's like, and then I just thought I'd go this way.
Yeah.
And he went that way and mysteriously somehow found his class. But yeah, he's off to a good start. Just kind
I
of doing
love it.
crazy cool things and eating double breakfasts. And
Well, that's the
who
thing.
knows what's going to happen next.
That was the thing with us. My wife would put money into the school account. And then like by the end of the week, it's like, geez, I put enough in for like this month. What is going on? and then finally she got an email, was like, your account is low again. And so she was reaching out. She's like, boys, what are lunches more expensive? She's like, no, we eat breakfast and lunch there. So they were eating breakfast here, going to school, eating breakfast again, and then having lunch. And they're still skin and bones. I'm just like, where do you guys put this?
Oh, I know.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
Oh, kids.
Man. Kids. They're a trip.
Something else.
Yeah. So, okay, we should get back on focus. We did pretty
Yep.
good. Only had 12 minutes of crazy.
Yep.
Goals, hopes, hit lists, hunting plans, the whole 9 yards. Let's start with you, Dan. What's on the hunt calendar for 2025?
Well, first thing, and this is 100% related to my hunts, is, let's say today's Wednesday, right? So
yes.
Thursday, I go for a shoulder injection. Friday, I go for a knee injection. And those steroid injections, cortisone injections, are going to get me through the hunting season, right? So like,
you are old.
I was talking to one of my buddies, CJ from Montana Decoy today, and he's like, dude, you're like an old bulldozer, just getting greased up before it's time to go hunting. And so I got to get lubed up because I am literally struggling shooting my bow right now. And I think once I get that in, I can start getting back into some heavier reps. Right now, I'm only shooting like maybe 15 arrows a day, 10, 15 arrows a day. Then I'm setting it down. Yep. And so the good news is I think I told you this earlier in the summer. I was thinking about getting a new bow. Yep. I did not get a new bow. And so everything for the most part is still in place. I'm only shooting at like 20 yards right now. That's my max right now, but I'm just trying to get reps in, building the muscles up. Once I get lubed up and greased up, then I can start shooting some more higher reps. I'm increasing right now my workouts so that I have roughly 30 days. I think it's like October 2nd or 3rd. I think it's one of those days I leave for South Dakota. So I got to get the heart rate up. I got to get the legs more conditioned. I got to probably drop, 10 pounds. I can do that in a week and get ready for hopefully pack out. That's step number one.
Same general area you've hunted there in the past?
Yeah. Same place I killed my mule deer last year. Yep.
And, week long, do you have like a set time or does it stay as long as you need or what's your...
Yeah. I mean, I'm coaching, so I have assistant coaches taking over for me that week and then I tried to schedule a bye week for football that week. With that said, usually it's 8 days. 2 of those are drive days. So what I've been doing is I've been leaving on like a Friday at about noon, driving halfway, maybe at 6 hours, and then getting a hotel room, doing some final work for the trip, and then driving the rest of the time, putting me there somewhere about noon the next day. And and then get set up, maybe go glass that night, and then that's the deal. The other thing is what I'm also thinking about doing is potentially leaving the last day of September and getting there for the opener and just doing a ton of glassing and moving around until the guy I'm hunting with gets there to try to get on, find where these deer are located and then make a move. And that way I can go, hey, you go here, I'll go here, or vice versa. Or maybe we don't find anybody or anything. And then we go to, we team up and and cover more ground on a single, in a single area. So
Yeah. So you've been working the South Dakota or Nebraska thing for 10 years maybe now, give or take, with a few years off, but
off and on. Yep.
about that, right?
This will be my 7th year in a row going to South Dakota.
Okay. And you killed a whitetail out there in 2021?
I
Right?
think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then last year you got your first mule deer, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. So this has been like this quest that I feel like you have been on for so many years, and you killed a whitetail, but I still felt like after that you were still like, well, yeah, I really
didn't
want.
count. Yeah.
It didn't quite count. But now you finally killed this mule deer. Where is your head going into this year? Is it like, oh, pressure's off, whatever, or do you now have this hope to, okay, now I want to get like a really big one or something different?
Yeah.
What's the goal now?
The cool thing about this is I've been within shooting range of a lot of mule deer over the course of the 7 years. This time I sealed the deal, and so I've been there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, you've been there. And so now I've been there. I'm just trying to repeat. You know what I mean? My goal is still any legal buck. I'm not waiting for anything. I'm lucky enough to where I would say what I shot was great for a first mule deer. And I'm looking to repeat that same thing. Dude, I'll go smaller than that. I'll go bigger than that, but I'm going for the most opportunities that I can possibly get in that 6-day window. And then once I'm there, then and I get close, just play it slow, play it calm, and then make a good shot, man. That's all you can really ask for.
How would you compare like this experience that you have out there with your Iowa whitetail stuff? Is it sometimes when I hear you talk about it, I almost think you like it more?
You're probably right. I mean,
is that true?
I mean, I wouldn't say I like it more. I like it different. Imagine, dude, I can't say that. I had this idea pop in my head, and I'm just like, I've been edited on this podcast before. I probably should.
But I think we can all guess where you thought you must be going there for a second.
Exactly.
But we'll leave it at that.
What I'm getting at is like, it's different. It's exciting. It's because it's something that I can't do every weekend during the hunting season. I can't drive. It's like I can drive an hour and go do something whitetail related if I really, really wanted to. I can hop on some public, 10 minutes away from my house if I really, really, really wanted to. But the excitement of this is because it's completely different, right? I mean, the terrain is different. The animals are different. The way they move through the terrain is kind of the same, but where they bed in the shade, just like all of this stuff is completely different than sitting in a tree stand and waiting for a whitetail. And I love it. I just absolutely love the challenge. I love the different aspects of it. I love the potentially, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to move 40 miles from here. I'm going to sleep in my truck tonight, and then I'm going to go hit this piece of a walk-in or public or something like that. And really, Mark, what it is about, it is about the freedom of so much public land out there that you can do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. In Iowa, that is almost an impossibility.
Yeah.
Right. That is taken away in Iowa because you have to have private access, or you're going to be bumping into somebody on private. Right out there, dude. You bump into somebody on public out in some of these states. Well, guess what I'm doing? I'm just going to take a couple backward steps, go in a different direction, walk 1 mile, and then there's more public land to hunt. And so, I don't know. It's exciting because it's different.
Yep. I totally get that. Get that. Well, I'm excited for you. Now that you kind of have, like, you've got a system, you know, like you said, you've been there. You know what you're doing. Yeah. So, I can't wait to hear how the trip goes. Well, my first hunt of the year comes up even sooner. I'm leaving in 6 days.
Okay.
For my first hunt of the year.
And where are you going?
Western whitetail hunt, public land. I'm keeping location kind of like quiet, trying not to spot burn. Yeah, Western whitetail public land hunt, trying to get the monkey off my back. I've not killed a Western whitetail in like 7 years now.
Yeah.
But I've had like 3 or 4 trips where I've been
Mhm.
like close calls or something
Yeah.
goes wrong. And so going back again after I took a year or two off. So excited about that. But doing it a little bit different this year. I'm this is kind of a theme that we've talked about over the last year or two, but just trying to like find ways to inject, kind of like you said,
Yeah.
inject diversity or just a different kind of fun.
Mhm.
And so I decided with this trip, like when I've done the Western whitetail hunts in the past, sometimes it's been like just whitetails and just like trying to kill a good buck. And then a few years, it was like, all right, well, let's do a couple different things. We'll do a little bit of fishing, but mostly hunting. And then I'd feel guilty about like the times I was fishing and then I wouldn't really enjoy it because of that. This year, we're going into it 100%. Let's just have this incredible like cast and blast fun trip.
Mhm.
Split 50-50. So the first half of the day, we're going to go and fish the coolest places we can find, like hike into these backcountry spots, go on an adventure in these really cool public land places where you can find great trout, great fish, and see the stuff, like do the things I've never had time to do or was never willing to like put the time towards because I felt like I have to be, you got to do everything you possibly can do to kill a big deer.
Mhm.
Um, I'm allowing myself, we're allowing ourselves to have a great, different kind of experience for the first half. And the second half of the day will be like, do everything you can in that half of the day to have a great deer hunt in
Mhm.
these spots. And so it's going to be a whitetail and trout cast and blast 50-50. And just, having a really fun, cool experience, not being super picky with, what deer I would shoot. I'd like to kill a somewhat mature deer, like a 3-year-old or older would be my hope. Um, but we're just gonna find out what we can find and just explore new spots, explore new
That's awesome.
areas, and have some fun. Kind of like you said, just there's a lot of freedom to roam out in these
Yeah.
states, and I'm excited to do that and do it like guilt free on both
Yeah.
sides,
100%.
um, which I think will be a nice change.
And you're going with a group, like a couple other dudes?
Just Furter, just Josh, just coming.
Oh, my man
Yep.
Furter.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be fun. We haven't done a trip together in several years. So
That'll be fun for sure.
that's the first hunt of the year. Looking forward to that.
Is that a filmed hunt?
No,
Okay.
not filmed. So
Cool.
also fun.
Yeah, that's
I
I'd prefer that.
yeah. I think we'll be, I'll be capturing some stuff, just solo.
Mhm.
Cell phone, social media. We're gonna do a podcast. We'll share the full story.
Oh, yeah.
But able to do something a little different. So very much looking forward to that. I'm racing to get all my final T's crossed and dots or I's dotted. Trying to wrap up everything back home to be ready to leave for that. And because once I leave for that, then I'm gone for 10 days or something between travel and the hunt. And I
Mhm.
come back, and then I've got an event in Wisconsin the following week. We're opening a store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. MeatEater is
Yeah.
on September 19th. If you are in Wisconsin, store opening in Milwaukee, September 19th. So I'm going to be there doing a meet and greet with folks on the 19th. And then on the 20th, September 20th, MeatEater is doing this tailgate tour across the country. And there'll be a bunch of us from MeatEater there at the Wisconsin Badgers Maryland football game
Oh, okay.
on September 20th. So I'm going to be there for that, hanging out. So if people are going to that game, they should look for us as well. And then after that, I'm going to go to the Boundary Waters for a few
Okay.
days to do maybe some grouse hunting, but definitely some fishing.
Gotcha.
So that'll be cool. There's been a never-ending array of craziness going on with that place. They're trying to open it back up to the mine and removing the protections that we recently got there that, I'd been talking about for years when I did my first trips. So going back there and continue to talk about what's happening. So that's my September schedule.
Yeah.
Is those 2 trips.
Hey, that'll be fun. I would say, hey, maybe I'll come up to Madison and hang out and say hi, but I don't know if I'd walk across the street to watch the Badgers play football, man.
Well, it's all about the pageantry and the
Mhm.
experience and the tailgate fun. I'm
Yep.
gonna wear a Michigan State hat.
Okay, good.
So we'll see.
At least you're
I
repping.
I gotta
I
rep the
would
true
make more
colors.
fun of you if you were wearing some Wisconsin shit.
Oh yeah, no,
Can't do it.
I'm not gonna cave.
Yeah.
My son's teacher in kindergarten is a
Mhm.
huge Michigan fan, and obviously
Uh-oh.
we're Michigan State fans.
Mhm.
And like her whole classroom is like covered in like U of M maize and
Mhm.
blue colors and stuff, like Tom Brady posters, like the entire door of the bathroom. And so my kids, I guess they said like I can't remember if you do something right, if you answer a question right, or I can't remember, there's something that you do, and the reward is you get to wear a Michigan jersey to school. I'm like, why the hell would I want that happening? So
Yeah.
we're trying to figure out like our family resistance plan to this indoctrination that his teacher is trying to have. He's gonna start wearing Michigan State gear every day there or something. But I digress.
Yes. Yes.
September.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to come over and have a beer, head on over to Madison.
I quit drinking, Mark.
Did you really?
I'm done.
Really, really?
I'm really serious. It's been over 100 days since I've had my last drop of alcohol.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Weird. It's weird because I used to crush Busch Lights, dude.
Oh, I know.
I mean, and bourbon. And then I was like, one morning I woke up and my knees didn't really work that well. And I was like, holy shit, maybe I should quit drinking. Anyway, I digress, right? Let's talk about
have you tried athletic beers?
Yes, I have. I still
They're
drink
pretty-
NA
they're-
beers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Athletic's pretty good. Like it tastes like a beer.
My new kick is Corona Light NA. Very
nice. Good. All right. So that's our September. October. Are you kicking off some Iowa in October, or are you waiting until November?
So, like I've said, October, the first week of October,
Well, yeah,
first
you've
8th,
got the-
it is the mule deer hunt.
Yeah,
in,
sorry. I was saying September,
SD.
but I know yours is October.
But, so one thing that I have noticed about this newer farm that I've picked up, this will be my fourth year there. This will be my fourth season hunting it. And one thing that I have noticed is there is this one pinch point on the farm, only one. And it's actually on a west wind, which makes everything real easy for me, that they start to daylight at about 3 to 4, right in this little pinch point. They stand there. It's like a staging area, but it's just a chill out spot. Like the bucks will
Is it by the pond?
No.
Is it by that pond spot?
No.
I feel like I remember you talking. Am I right? That's that property, right? There's a pond and like a big levee.
Yep, but it's further down the creek than where the pond's at. But so, I've had a trail camera there for 3 years now, going on 4, and there are deer in this pinch point every single day, all year round. Somewhere about 8 to 9 in the morning, and also about from 4, somewhere around that 3, 4, 5 time frame too, as they're kind of moving through, and they just kind of hold up right on this little creek crossing. What happened is there's a big bend in the creek, and it floods. It's like a flash flood zone. So when it rains real hard, it comes up and it deposits sand, and then the grass grows up a little bit in it, and then it deposits sand and it grows, whatever. And now it's created this little flat area with all this like knee-high vegetation. So I put a camera there, and I'm going to hang a tree stand there, and I'm going to hunt probably 1 or 2 nights, hopefully like pair it up with some kind of cold front. Maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. I'm not a huge believer in like mid-October cold fronts, but I am a believer in trail camera data. So I'm going to try to set a stand up in there some way, wait for a southwest, west, north, probably not a northwest, but southwest, west wind, and see what I can do.
That's exciting. Do you have a deer out there yet that you're excited about?
Dude, only one. Only one picture. Now, here's what happened. I put out some cameras on my main farm and put a little freshened the mineral sites out, and a tree branch came down in front of one and blew. Thousands of pictures of that, right? Batteries are now dead. One, I put a block, like this mineral block out this pasture. The only horse that's left came up and in 24 hours ate the whole mineral block and stood in front of my camera for 3 days straight and took all these pictures of horses. There were deer involved in that time frame, but like nothing that's shocking, right? But was it yesterday or the day before? Let's see if I can pull this. This is it's a good picture here. I'll pull it up. See what I got here. Yeah, I'll show you here.
Yeah, let's see it. Oh,
That's
buddy.
it. I'm saying low 150s. I don't know if you can see right here. He's got a big frontal of an elk type of deal coming up, and I think he's a 10. I think he's a 10 pointer.
That's on the main farm or the new farm?
That's on the new farm.
New farm.
New farm. And that's it. That deer, there's one other deer who looks like he could be 4. This guy's definitely mature. I don't know. Other than that, I haven't seen anything. But here's the other kicker is that since I have hung trail cameras up, was it last week today, 1 week ago today, maybe even a little later. Anyway, they have mowed it, they have raked it, they have turned the hay or the grass, and then they put it in big bales, and then they came in and got it out. So all summer long, I procrastinated, and then they come in and start to work right after I do all my stuff there. And I'm sure there's a disruption in the deer movement.
Yeah.
Now that they got those bales, the big bales out, there should be a period of time where there's nothing going on in September at all on this farm. So I'm hoping there's a rebound.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. Yeah. Now, back to your main farm. Historically, you had a neighbor that like hyper managed. They had like incredible food, incredibly managed property, and there was always a bit of you would always thought like, they're sucking a lot of deer away from me for big parts of the year. Yeah. Am I right that those people are not there anymore?
No, they're not, but there is the new owner of that property. I'm almost sure he's picking up right where they left off.
Okay.
From a management standpoint, maybe not as high of management from a trigger control standpoint, but from a food plot, from a timber management. I mean, they pretty much handed this guy after he bought it the keys to the Rolls Royce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, however, there's multiple farms in between the one that I hunt and their farm, but it's not necessarily it's not a long distance at all. It's just there is some separation. But I will say this, that there's one good farm or there's one good deer in the river bottoms that showed up the last 2 years. Other than that, man, the farm is just not the same as it has been in previous years. So I don't know what it is. I know that they're rotating cattle into some of these pastures now, which could play a little bit of a role in it. I know that there's a shotgun crew that comes through and crushes it multiple times, like a first season and second season. And that's always been a thing. But from a deer size, now the other thing is it's corn up top and beans on the bottom. So I don't have any cell cameras down there because cell cams don't work in the bottoms. So I don't know really what's going on down there.
So what do you think, what's the goal this year for Iowa then? Given you got limited inventory.
Yeah. The goal is to go out, have as much fun as possible, and shoot a deer that makes me happy. Yeah. Right? That makes me go, oh.
Yes. And trademark, Dan Johnson.
Trademark, right? And if I get excited about it, I'm shooting it, right? If that's a 5-year-old 120 incher, you'll get an arrow. If that's a 165-inch 3-year-old, he's getting an arrow. Like, dude, I just want to go out and fill some tags, have some fun, and go after the top tier deer on any farm I have.
Yeah. So it's funny, I've spent some time in Iowa, as I have over the years, and gotten to know a good number of people there. You meet a certain segment of the Iowa deer hunting population who starts to get like jaded by the situation there. Like they become so used to seeing 140s and 150s and 160s and even 170s. They're not even excited about like a 165-inch 5-year-old. It's got to be Booner, or they're like, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
Or I've met people who like, man, if it's not 175 or something, they just kind of meh, no big
Yeah.
deal. They're disappointed. They're bummed out. They say Iowa sucks now because there's not as many 200 inches as there used to be, 15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, have you, and you're a little bit different than that. I feel
Yeah.
like you, at a time, like maybe 10 years ago, you were more obsessed with like a Booner. And now
Yep.
you're kind of back to like, whatever. I know that's a little bit with like your own family life and
Yeah.
where you are as a dad and everything, but talk about that a little bit. And have you seen that with your friends or anyone else around you?
Mark, as you know, for all species of all animals and all calibers of deer, access is everything. Access is everything, right? And so if you have access to a large acreage and you're one of the only people hunting it, and you have the ability to pass 4 and 5-year-old deer to get to the point where a deer can reach 170, or the fact that, don't get me wrong, I have a 2-year-old, 3-year-old on one of these farms who's going to be a genetic freak, right? He's probably a 148 pointer this year, and he's probably walking around 140 as probably a 2-year-old. Okay. Small
Jeez.
body. Like I put my thumb over his antlers and you're just like, that's a doe type of deal, right?
Wow.
The people, and this might get me in trouble, or this whole concept of Iowa is what the whole concept of Pike County used to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Pike County, Illinois was the spot in the late 90s and early 2000s. Oh, dude, Pike County. I got a farm in Pike County. I got a lease in Pike County. I know guys who hunt Pike County, right? And what has happened is there are the people who don't get excited about 150s and 60s or 70s anymore are the people who have the access. They are the people who are able to control the environment, basically, right? Whether that's 300 acres and their neighbor has 100 acres, that's just one person hunting and another person hunting. You will see that when you talk to the people in Iowa who don't have that availability and don't have that access to those farms, their life really hasn't changed much, right? They're still like 140s. They're shooting 140s all year, right? It's the people that you're talking to, and I'm just guessing here. They are in the industry some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's through that they're actually in the industry, or maybe it's secondhand. But I will tell you this, that I know guys who are passing 200-inch 3 and 4-year-olds. I know guys who are passing, and this is like once a deer gets to 200. I know guys, you've had them on your podcast, right? I know guys who have passed 190-inch 4-year-olds, and he told me I should have shot the doe he was following, so he didn't that he didn't go on the neighbor's farm and then get shot, right?
Wow.
So is that realistic to anybody other than
No.
the 1%ers who are actually doing this? No,
Yeah.
they're not, right? And I'm not sitting here trying to shit on that, but I think that there is this huge gap in between what is a quality deer, right? What is a quality deer? To me, a quality deer is something completely different than the people who have access to hundreds and hundreds and potentially thousands and thousands of acres, managed farm, putting money into these farms and things like that, right? And it's just they live in a different world than what the average Joe lives in.
Mm-hmm.
And so to say that I will say this, Iowa is not the same. In their defense, it's not the same. But at the same time, it's not the same to them, because I'm guessing their surrounding neighborhoods are shooting more of the higher caliber bucks.
Yeah.
You add trail cameras into some things, the whole back in the day when less people were running cell cams and trail cameras, you're taking the biggest buck that walks by your tree. not the biggest buck that's on your trail camera. Those are two completely different things. And so when you have two, let's say you own or you manage or whatever the case is, 200 acres, 300 acres, and you have a 160 class or a 170 class on camera as your top tier deer, you're not going to shoot those 140s because you have time to try to make the rest happen, right? A guy who has 5 days of PTO, he's going to take any opportunity to shoot any deer he can. But if you're in the industry, you obviously, like both of us, we have the ability to hunt way more days a year than the average guy. And so to the average guy, I doubt that they have seen much of a change. But to the bigger guys who are running way more trail cameras and cell cams and have a really good dot on their property, they're seeing maybe less deer over 170. But I'll tell you this, they're still passing the top 10% of deer to get them to the next stage. And a lot of people just are still not doing that. They've never done that.
Yeah, I would guess there's a lot of truth to what you're saying.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting. Some of the people that I've heard talk like this are, they're not industry at all. Just
right.
Regular hunters who just grew up in the promised land and have never known anything else, And I think when you only have known that, it's like that their baseline is this. And so, it's very interesting.
I will say that, yes, it has changed. Because I think, in the early days of Wired to Hunt, I would tell you about some of the stuff I saw or some of the glory days of the late 90s, first 7 years of the 2000s, just the ridiculous amount of deer that I have seen. Now, you have all these changes that have happened. There are way more bow hunters in the woods now than there ever has been. Not necessarily more hunters, but there's way more bow hunters now. The people who here's what I'm saying is that the gap is widening. Like you hear about the wage disparity gap in this country.
Yeah,
there is a buck disparity gap too, because as this gap widens, there's more people coming on the bottom end of this scale. There's more people coming into the smaller acreages that are already being hunted, where the landowner gives everybody permission or more people permission. While the guys on the top are getting more land and more land and more land for less number of hunters. So the hunter per acre disparity is real in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard to deny that.
Yeah.
With that said, for better or for worse, I am hunting Iowa this year myself.
Yep.
And I don't care if it's like it is now or like it was 15 years ago. It's still pretty darn good as far as I'm concerned.
I've seen some of those trail cam pics, dude. You got some decent deer.
Yeah, I got some decent deer. Got and some more new pictures. I went up last week for 2 quick days. Just kind of like whirlwind scouting, trail cam hanging, stand prep, glassing fields at night, the whole 9 yards. And got a bunch of stuff done. And super fun evenings. Like the deer were out.
Yeah.
On one of the properties that I've got permission on, we had some pictures of like 3 bucks that were probably mature and a fourth that was like a maybe. And the first bean field we drove by, like well before dark, we stopped on this little knoll and you can see down to this little dark corner and bam, there's one of them. And then like we'll look more left, like, oh, there's another one. And then a little further, like, oh, there's the other one. All 4 of the bucks we've been getting pictures of over the summer were all out in this one field. So it was very cool to get to see them in real life and get some footage of them and stuff. And then we went to another zone kind of on the other side of the block. So this is on the other side of this property. And there was another bean field that had 3 different bucks that all, I would shoot any one of them. So I saw like 6, at least 4-year-old bucks surrounding one of these pieces that I can hunt, in like a half-hour period. So that was very exciting.
Yeah.
All, just super nice mature deer, 130 to 160 type bucks.
Yeah.
So exciting there. And then the other farm I can hunt is, I don't know, maybe like 5 miles away. And we didn't see any driving around, but put some cameras up, and already we've gotten pictures of, another probably 2 bucks that I would shoot down there, and then a
Hmm.
neighbor, a buddy of ours who's got cameras on his farm nearby, has another, like, probably 3 different other really good bucks. Again, like,
Hmm.
all, like, 4-year-old plus, again, like, 140 to 160 type deer.
Yeah.
So no shortage of deer I'd be excited to get a crack at.
And this is all on like permission that you've gathered from people. Are you going into public at all, or just it's private permission this year?
Yeah, so this year private permission, and my permissions have gotten easier to get because my buddies who we used to all be just getting knocking on doors getting
Hmm.
permission, and then 2 of my good friends now have slowly over time. First it was permissions, and then we had a couple leases that we chipped in on, and now both of them actually have bought a farm. So I've
Oh,
got
nice.
permission through friends now, which is
Awesome.
very nice.
Awesome.
Um, so gives you just, the added benefit of not just like a place to hunt, but also one of my buddies, there's like an old house on the property that they've been slowly trying to fix up and improve. And so now it's a place we can all stay at.
Yeah.
So we've got like a deer camp, which is super fun. And, when I hunted there um, last time I hunted Iowa was 3 years ago, no, 4 years ago. And I think I told you guys I think we talked about this spring a little bit. But, all my buddies were down there. A bunch of folks from Michigan had drawn that year too. And the guys from Iowa were there. And, they were, going out to lunch in the middle of the day together, having a fun late breakfast. So they'd go out to dinner at night and they just like enjoying deer camp together
Right.
and doing the thing. And I was so obsessed with like, I have to kill a big giant buck. And I never left the woods. I was out there from, 2 hours before daylight till an hour after daylight, hiking in, hiking out, and just, being a crazy person. And I
Yeah.
missed out on like all of the social side of it.
Yeah.
And this year I'm not going to do that. This year I'm going to enjoy the full experience and see
Yeah.
the thing. I want to experience Iowa. I don't want to like try to conquer Iowa. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have dates in mind of when you're coming? Are you going to pop in for like an October hunt, or are you just going straight rut?
I think I've got the first week of October blocked off for my big trip, but then I think I might pop in for an October weekend, hopefully.
Yeah.
Again, just to kind of like have more time out there. I think if I come in October, I would be picky. I would, not want to end it in October unless it was just like a unbelievable
Hmm.
deer that you can't not shoot.
Yeah.
But I would love to just like experience it, just hunt these areas and have a chance to see deer that I usually don't get to see and see stuff
Yeah.
that you usually don't get to see. So hopefully I can get out for October for a little bit, get out there for a fun week in November, and see what happens. I've had,
Yeah.
3 times I've hunted Iowa. I killed a buck my first year. I missed a buck the second trip, and I missed a buck the third trip. So,
Yeah. You forgot to add the word giant into one of those as well. A giant. You missed a
yes.
giant buck.
Yes, I missed a giant buck. So I've got a little bit of a curse that I need to shake off here this year.
That's right. You'll get her done.
Yeah,
You'll
I
get her
hope
done.
so that's my Iowa trip. The goal there is to kill a mature buck
Mhm.
and but not rush it. So
Right.
I want to I'd love to be there a bunch and see a bunch. But I'm not going to be crazy picky either. I just want the full Iowa thing. So mature buck,
100%.
something that gets me excited. No
Yeah.
specifics.
Yep.
That I did like I saw like the biggest buck we had seen on trail camera on one of those farms was in that field that I mentioned to you where I saw all 4 of them together. And
Yep.
the next day we went back and checked out that field and he was out there again. And so I decided, I'm going to sneak in on the backside of the property and see if I can sneak up close, get behind him, and maybe be able to get some up close, like get up close view of him.
Mhm.
And I was able to do that. And I snuck up and I got within 100 yards of him and got to watch him for the last half hour of daylight and got like just gorgeous pictures and video. Like really, really cool to like see a buck that big, pretty darn close, just doing his thing.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely a little smitten by him after like that encounter and getting to watch him. But any one of these deer would be cool to see again.
That's awesome, man. You going to try to shoot a doe while you're here too?
I should. Yeah, I
Mhm.
should.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's one thing that's on my list. I don't know if I told you this, but I ended up having, so this summer, my kids or a neighbor boy or somebody went into my garage, got some popsicles out of my freezer. Well, when they took the popsicles out of the freezer, the popsicle box blocked the door and it didn't shut the freezer all the way.
No.
And so I walk out there 2 days, like a day and a half later, because I think it was on the weekend, so I didn't come up here to the office. And I'm seeing this pool of water on the ground. I'm like, what the hell? Did they spill something? I come outside. I look around the corner where my freezer's at. Doors pried open, probably 6 inches. And the whole freezer everything in there was soft, but still cool, right? So I pulled that night. We had a huge fish fry for the entire neighborhood. I probably had to give away, it was either cook it now, because I don't really know what the rules are per se of if something gets thawed out, should you freeze it again, whatever. So I got on my golf cart. We live in a golf cart community. I got into my golf cart and I drove around to everybody I know in my community who answered their door, and I handed them 2 or 3 packs of sausages or salami sticks or big chunks of ring bologna, and just it was like meet Santa coming into your door, and I handed a whole bunch of stuff out and said, hey, you got to cook this week. And so now I have an empty freezer. And so that to me is a blank canvas, and I want to shoot a lot of deer this year.
Empty freezers make good hunters.
Yes, that's a fact.
Yes, they do. Are you hunting Kansas again this year?
Nope. Bought a preference point.
Okay.
So I bought my preference point for Kansas. I bought my 11th Wyoming elk point, my 11th antelope point, and my 9th deer point for Wyoming. So here pretty soon, I'm going to start cashing some of that stuff in.
That's exciting.
Yep.
Are any of your kids getting a deer tag this year?
Yes. And that's one thing I was going to talk about real quick before we shut her down or whatever. But like, I have 2 kids who are now what I feel old enough to go on a youth hunt. They're youth hunt. My daughter went last year. I think she had a little bit of panic or some sort of something happened. The deer were right in front of her. She said she couldn't see them. I didn't know what the deal was. Long story short, we ended up, she didn't get any deer. They were literally 20 yards in front of her. That blew out. She didn't want to go back the next night, but now I guess she had some time to think and she's ready to go again. My youngest boy, he wants to go again too. So now I got to try to find a grandpa, my stepdad, take one of them, or find a spot close to here to get some kids out on a doe or something. I got to go into, because all of my stuff is set up for bow hunting in November. All the crops are still in. So that makes it a little more difficult to kind of find a way, like to just sit on the ground and do stuff in blaze orange in late September, early November or October. But the cool thing about what has happened in Iowa is they have changed the law that allows, if you buy a youth tag, you can use it in youth season, but you can also use it in any season that is currently open. Meaning, if my daughter and my son, if I felt comfortable them with bows and arrows, they could use that during the archery season. I can use that during shotgun season with a shotgun. That's going to be an option.
That's great.
Late season muzzle loader. So there are options if we don't get the job done in September.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's going to be so fun.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that. Your oldest boy, he ready to go?
He says he is. He probably could be.
Yeah.
But I want him to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
He's a great shot with a rifle. He killed his first turkey this spring. He's pretty diehard. So he's like, yeah, I'm ready to shoot a deer dead for sure. But I think he needs to be a little bit more like emotionally mature or something. I'm looking for a little bit more maturity from him before I let him take that next step. So he'll definitely be going out there with me. My youngest has been expressing more and more interest. He's hunted with me the last 2 years, a handful of times every year, and he's getting like more and more excited about it. So that's a big goal this year, is just to get both the boys out there more often. And that kind of segues beautifully into my Michigan plans
Yeah.
because want to make sure they get up to our deer camp a couple times this year for sure. Had an awesome hunt last year, and Josh killed a buck at our deer camp last year when both of my boys were there and his son was there.
Awesome.
So like that was really fun with the kids. Would love to repeat. I was actually just up there yesterday doing work up there, prepping blinds and making sure everything's ready for the kids and ready for my dad. And
Yeah.
good for the family trips. So that's looking good. There was an absolutely enormous deer there last year, Dan. I don't know if we ever talked about it, but
I think you might have even sent me a picture of him.
Okay.
And you're like, for Northern Michigan, this is a great deer.
Oh yeah. It was 170 plus in Northern
someone
Michigan.
Shoot him?
Yeah. Our neighbor killed him.
Okay.
But we saw him. Me and my dad saw him. I was hunting with my dad in early November, and he came in following a doe and installed at like 75 yards, something like that. But just insane to see a buck like that in frickin' Northern Michigan, big woods, swamp habitat, and here is a giant, Iowa type buck. Yeah, so cool. But then he got killed opening morning. But all that's to say, anything's possible up there. So that was an exciting thing to see.
Yeah.
To kind of change the expectations just a little. Of course,
right.
Not counting that happening again, but it's fun. And want to have the kids out with me more hunting down in Southern Michigan. I have picked up a couple new permissions this year in Michigan, so continuing to diversify. Last year I added a piece. I've got permission from the same landowner on a couple other spots. They're not they don't look amazing. They're spots where you're hunting like a couple acres of cover on the edge of a field. But I'm gonna keep tabs on all these places just in case something pops up. I killed my buck in Michigan last year on one of those spots, like 2-3 acres of cover. So it's possible. I picked up permission on a piece this year with a buddy. The buddy picked up permission and invited me to hunt with him. It's like a campground. It's a private campground that also has a bunch of kind of open ground, and the owner of this campground wants someone hunting it. And so there's human activity there's a lot of activity right now around it. I think as the fall progresses, that activity will probably go down. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how deer use it. There's a bunch of deer out there, but mostly does right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully during the rut, some bucks start moving through. So that's gonna be an interesting new thing to learn and figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Old Faithful properties, my longtime standbys that have hunted forever, are in a weird spot right now.
Okay.
Last year, I had 2 bucks last year who were like deer I'd known for multiple years. I was very excited. One was definitely 5, one was 4 or 5, big, and they both disappeared at the beginning of the season. And one of them turns out got killed down the road. One of them I still don't know what happened. Talked to one of the neighbors the other day, and his grandkids killed 2 10-pointers. I don't know any more details other than that. And then he also told me that he killed 3 does during late season that ended up being shed bucks.
All of them were shed bucks?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I was
rough.
like, yeah. I was like,
Whoops.
oh my gosh, that is brutal. So all that's to say that I think a lot of stuff got mowed down last year.
Yeah.
I don't have a single buck that I've seen yet this summer that I'm, excited about necessarily. There's 2 bucks that I've gotten 1 picture of each that are maybe 3, maybe 4. I saw them last year when they were like 2 or 3. This year they're 3 or 4. I don't know. I'll have to get a better look at them and get a better sense. If they're 4 and they're big and big bodied, in the fall, maybe. Well, let's see what the situation is like. But as of right now, I'm like, I don't know. It might just be the year that I shoot a bunch of does and take the kids out a lot and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Michigan. And the one other hunt I've got this year after that would be, it's kind of up in the air exactly where, but I'm going to tease something to the folks listening who watch our hunts. We should be. It's almost signed, dotted, actually happening. I think we're going to be doing a new season of 1 Week in November this year.
Oh, nice.
Which is that show we did in the past. But it's going to be in January. So it's going to be 1 week in January. It's going to be down south. So we're going to be hunting the southern rut somewhere, maybe
All
like
right.
Alabama or Mississippi or something. And on the past seasons, like the whole gist, the format of the show is it was like 5 of us all hunting a different place around the country for the same 7 days of November, right?
Hmm.
And so it was like bouncing from me in Iowa to Tony in Wisconsin to Clay in Arkansas or whatever.
Yep.
This season 3, we're going to make the 2 changes. One change was we're all going to be hunting. Well, sorry, it's going to be in the south, and we're all going to hunt together for this one. So
Ooh.
we're all going to hunt. We're going to have like a deer camp somewhere. We're all going to hunt the same property, and then it's going to be following us all in our different spots on that property, hunting in our own unique styles and ways, but in the same area. So,
Yeah.
barring some kind of unforeseen change, the plan is to film that sometime in January. So,
Okay.
so that will be fun and something kind of different, doing the whole Southern Rut thing. But that's my year.
Yeah. Dude, it's always that you take some of this stuff for granted. I think a lot of us do, where you're just I don't think I understand even how important this hunting stuff is for me at times.
Hmm.
Where like I love it so much, like the hunting aspect of it, not the point last week where I was stomping through chest high grass with chiggers and mosquitoes biting me all over the place. Not that part,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like the sitting in the cool October and November air, stepping outside, sipping a cup of coffee in the October weather, checking like, ooh, new buck on camera. All right. How am I going to get this son of a gun? Like
obsessively checking the weather report.
exactly. Like, sorry, hey, no, give me my phone back, or let me see the iPad. I got to check up the weather forecast. Boom. I don't know. There's something about this time of year. Fall is my favorite time from a college football standpoint to the hunting standpoint to the weather and family aspects of all of it. It like when I die and go someplace, it's going to be fall every day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. It's a beautiful time of year. Best time of year. And sounds like both of us have got some exciting adventures to look forward to.
That's a fact, man. I'm looking forward to hearing the ends of these stories.
Yes, ditto. Let's touch base again in season, get some updates up there. I always appreciate catching up with you, seeing what you're up to. So best of luck, my friend. Best of luck.
Right back at you.
All right, and that's a wrap for another one of our episodes here today. I appreciate you joining me. You might be hunting as we speak. Hunting seasons are kicking off across the country, so I want to wish you luck if that's the case. I want to encourage you to stay safe, to keep it fun, to share time with your friends and family, to do your part as a steward of our wildlife and our wild places. And I just will tell you that I appreciate you. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you being a part of this community. It's going to be a wild hunting season. I can't wait to share it with you. I can't wait to hear from you. And until next week, stay wired to hunt.